Today on the LA Food Podcast, we've cooked up a banger of an episode for you, dear listener, and for once, we didn't do it using recipes sourced on ChatGPT. Alison Roman is the best-selling author of sneakily groundbreaking cookbooks, Dining In, Nothing Fancy, and Sweet Enough. Her latest book, Something from Nothing, feels like a complete pivot from the woman who made words like lemony and shallot pasta commonplace in the vocabulary of those who love to cook. We discuss her new direction, why she feels this almost compulsive need to always be zagging even when her previous zigs have been ultra successful, and we also get into her life growing up in the San Fernando Valley, her early career working in LA fine dining, and what she thinks of LA's food scene now that she's transitioned into a fully fledged New Yorker. We do a bit of media chat reflecting on her days at Bon Appetit and the New York Times, and we get into the very real crisis facing recipe developers as apps like ChatGPT and Claude literally come for their lunch. Alison has been a long-time inspiration of mine, so this was a special one for me, dear listener, and I sincerely hope you enjoy it. But first, Father Saul is on to reflect on meals at Lucia, Bess, Max and Helen's, and cheesesteaks by Ma 2, which he finally made it to. We discuss the fallout from last week's episode on LA dining scam influencer Comfy with Carrie, and in Chef's Kiss Big Miss, there's more trouble for Noma, amazing news for Via's Tacos and Jen Harris, a lukewarm David Chang review courtesy of the New York Times, and a Tesla diner confession for the ages. And oh yeah, I almost forgot that I offer a sincere apology to a restaurant that completely changed my mind in the last week. Stay tuned to find out which restaurant did the impossible. A reminder that the LA Food Podcast is part of the Acquired Taste Media Network. Be sure to listen to our sister podcast, Taqueando with Bill Esparza. This week, Bill dropped part 2 of his ultimate guide to Mexico City, which consisted of street food, cantinas, fondas, and far more. That's available wherever podcasts are streaming. Please consider leaving both Bill's show and our show a 5-star review, or, whatever star rating you want. Just be honest, and do it both on Spotify and on Apple. Thank you to whoever left us a 5-star rating on Apple this week. It truly means the world to us. As always, I'm your host, Lucas Servodio, and without further ado, it's time to chow down. Welcoming back to the LA Food Podcast, a man who should probably be on NBC/Peacock's The Traitors because he is the most backstabbing friend known to man. Saul, what do you have to say for your Instagram behavior this past week?
I regret nothing. It was funny. And I lied because it was funny. We are referring listeners to the Comfy with Carrie podcast snippet you posted.
Yep.
With Karen Palmer. Which got pretty heated in the comments.
Dude, that was one of the wildest comment sections we've ever had on this podcast. It was giving like 4chan a little bit.
It was a lot of fun. And so Comfy with Carrie is the person who's the influencer who's going around saying, LA restaurants are a scam, and I'm
LA dining is a yep.
Yeah. And so you guys talked about it. I thought pretty, fairly evenly, I'll say.
Some people thought we were too nice, actually.
I can see that angle. And then, first of all, Comfy with Carrie herself got in the comments.
She did.
And then Super Rad Sub Shop got in the comments. And it was really funny, bro.
Okay. This was one of the things my wife got the most incensed about that she's ever been incensed about. Uh-huh. Okay, so for context, we post this video, right? And, if you were listening to the podcast last week, you could have probably told which moment I was going to clip. And it was the moment where I compared Carrie to Trump, basically saying that she has this populist bent. She's tapping into a frustration that people are feeling. And she's come up with a simple slogan, AKA LA dining is a scam, the same way that Trump came up with build the wall. He did come up with that, right?
Yeah.
That was his thing. And that's what the rally cry that people got behind. Mm-hmm. The owner of Super Rad Sub Shop did not like that I compared Carrie to Trump and got really upset at me. And you thought this was funny.
And that was really funny. Yeah, well, the way she wrote her comments were cool, because first Comfy with Carrie posted, I think, basically saying, like, thank you or whatever. And then was it that Super Rad Sub Shop responded to Carrie being like, big fan, I just wish he hadn't compared you to Trump. Essentially, or no, it wasn't that. It was, she was saying, oh yeah, if you were a man, or Comfy with Carrie said, if I were a man, no one would be mad at me for these opinions and mistakes. And then I think Super Rat Sub Shop was like, yeah, God forbid a woman have an opinion.
Right.
And you followed up with like a laughing emoji, like in support, right?
Yes.
You were like, yeah, God forbid.
I'm like, I'm on your side.
Yes,
I support women,
so
you know?
You do like laughing emoji, and she responds, oh, women having an opinion is fucking funny to you? I thought it was hilarious. So I am Team Super Rad Sub Shop. I want more of that energy in your comments. I get a kick out of it. Sorry to your wife.
Yeah, it was just really funny because there was a big misunderstanding. Like I was not laughing at the idea of a woman having an opinion. I was on their side.
I just love people automatically assuming the worst of you. I really enjoy that. I really do take pleasure in it.
Well, needless to say, she still wasn't happy that I compared Carrie to a racist pedophile, and you know, fair play. Mm-hmm. But I just wanted to say I wasn't.
Words, by the way, racist pedophile.
Right? Yeah, not mine, obviously. Yeah, I wouldn't dare. But that was her words, saying that Trump is a racist pedophile. But I did not compare Carrie to Trump based on her racism or pedophilia, which I know nothing about.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You did not, and you clarified this in a comment back to her, and she said, "Still did it." Immediate like from me. Good job, Super Rat Shop.
Look, I don't know. I think we're both mutually dead to each other, and that is okay. So, speaking of sandwiches, I see that you yourself have had some sandwiches recently. Where have you been eating recently?
The two most notable ones, Matu cheesesteak at long last.
You finally did it.
And I had I think what was it? I had some kind of appointment. Oh, I was picking up a marriage license downtown. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Way to bury the lead.
Yeah. And so we grabbed that, but I was in Beverly Hills. So I was like, shit, while we're here, the more important thing to do, Matu cheesesteak. and it did not disappoint. It did not. I mean, look, I grew up in basically mid/South Jersey, right outside of Philadelphia. My dad would commute there for work all the time. I was never a cheesesteak guy growing up.
Why?
The melted cheese factor, like the way the cheese was melted, I wasn't into. I was a big hoagie guy. Jersey had like crazy hoagies with like, burger patties and chicken fingers and fries and mozzarella sticks.
And you're like, that's a bit of me.
That makes sense to me. that all adds up. But for some reason, cheese sticks didn't take it the same way. As I've gotten older, my tastes have evolved and refined, and that was a really pleasant experience. Look, certainly like a luxurious, lunch destination, but well worth it, I thought.
Did it remind you of any cheesesteaks you had in Philly?
No. Well, no, it sort of did. It was better. It was better. What are you gonna say? Like it's better than that. I mean, having that with the crispy potato chips. I splurged for the bone broth, which is like, for a shot of bone broth, $9 is pretty. It's a lot.
That's how much they charge you?
I know, but it makes me so happy.
Yeah.
So happy to drink it. And you just like sign up to the bar. It's like whatever. 12 people, 15 people around the bar having lunch, like doing our own things. It's a great little time.
So thinking back to my sandwich countdown and the fact that I ranked it like my top 2 or 3 sandwiches in Los Angeles, do you still trust my taste or?
Yeah, I do. So here's one takeaway I'll have. And this has been true, I think, for a long time in my life. I definitely always, I think this is true. I like a cold sandwich more than a hot sandwich. More often than not. I don't know why. I just like bias towards.
No, you have cold sandwich vibes.
I like it. I don't know what that means, but I can't do anything but accept it because it's true. And because of that, I was like, I really enjoyed this. I'm not in a rush to go back, but simply because of that particular taste, right? There on the days when I want a hot sandwich, it's like top hot sandwich.
Right.
I mean that and number 19. Basically.
So your ideal sandwich is what?
It's not even ideal. It's more that the sandwich I'm gonna tend to is like an Italian, a tuna, a salami.
All about the bread, of course.
Yeah. I mean, look, but these are also universal sandwiches, right? A Godfather style sandwich, right?
Yeah.
Like with essentially cold cuts and or tuna salad is like where I'm going to.
Okay, so the next sandwich on your to-do list, based on this love that you have for Philly style hoagies, for cold sandwiches. Delco Rose Hoagies.
Oh, I've heard of Delco Rose. I mean, from your fucking countdown. So, it's on the list. Where is that again?
It's actually in Highland Park. Okay. There was a shoppy shop / gentrifiers market known as Carla's Fresh Market.
Okay.
And they started popping up there, but Carla's closed overnight. However, Delco Rose has continued to operate in there.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure he's selling sandwiches out there almost every day.
I guarantee I will like those sandwiches.
Yeah. That's going to be up your alley, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, speaking of other hyped spots, I see here that you finally made it.
Finally did. Max and Helen's. I want so now. Here's the thing. I've gone once. I've only had the cheeseburger, and before we talked about it, my plan had been to go like 3 times in the last week, hit like a breakfast dish and all that. Like, but I need to try the tuna melt. I know I'm not really a tuna melt guy. Hot sandwich, of course, but it looks really good. I've heard good things, so I wanted to sample more of the menu before we spoke on it. I've only had the cheeseburger, but I do want to talk about it and finally get your impression, which I have not heard from you on it.
So first of all, let me ask you this: how long did you have to wait?
0 minutes.
Wow.
Which is why, so I live nearby. The reason why I'm finally able to go is because fucking like life hack or whatever, on weeknights, if we were to go to Max and Helen's right now, I bet we would not have a wait.
At 5:41 p.m. on a Wednesday?
On a Wednesday. I'm pretty sure that's like when I went.
Yeah.
Like right around now. Like 5 p.m.-ish. Like it dies down. There's open seating. I'm guessing weekend brunch is crazy. I'm guessing Friday, Saturday is still busy. I just go, like, I just walk down to Larchmont and I go, line? No? Boom, we're in.
Yeah,
like,
well, you have a level of access that not everybody does. But still, that's refreshing to know. What about the prices? What did you think of the price of a cheeseburger there?
It was pricey.
Yeah.
For sure. I said this earlier last year.
Yeah.
I've been fiending for diners.
Yeah.
A neighborhood diner is basically like, I will pay for it. Like, I am willing to pay for a spot that I can walk a few blocks to. That's a diner that has a diner menu.
That looks and feels like a diner.
Looks and feels like a diner and has like the menu just has everything I want on it in terms of a diner experience, and bam. So it was pricey, there's no doubt. But given I had no wait, I had like a convenient experience and it was giving me a slice of life that I want. I wasn't like super mad about it. Like I will wait until I've gone through the menu a little bit more before I like pass judgment, because I do think it was a little elevated. Like, I don't think it's again, I just had the cheeseburger and fries and I had the hot chocolate.
Oh, you had the hot chocolate?
I had hot chocolate. I love hot chocolate.
Did it hit?
It's not my style of hot chocolate.
It's too rich.
I really wanted it to hit.
Yeah.
I really, really did. It wasn't quite my ideal hot chocolate.
Yeah.
Looks beautiful. But I on a cold, crisp night, I can see where it would fit in. I was going on a warm day during the heat wave like a week ago or whatever. It wasn't quite what I needed, but I'm glad I tried it.
Getting the hot chocolate during a heat wave, that's user error.
And also, I mean, like I literally said to the guy, like, look, I know it's not the day for it, but I just got to try this hot chocolate. Really nice touch. They gave me the seltzer water.
Oh, nice.
The seltzer water as like a accompaniment to a diner meal. Lovely.
Yeah, I like that. Elevated. Look, I really liked Max and Helen's.
Wow,
like,
okay.
I actually thought, you know, we're going to talk a little bit about a meal where I went in with super high expectations, and it not living up to those expectations really colored my opinion of that meal. Mm-hmm. Max and Helen's, I kind of went in expecting a diner meal. Yeah. And I got a diner meal. Yeah. And I liked it. And it was, you know, extremely high quality, extremely well executed. The flavors were on point. Brad and I got the patty melt. Yeah. And I loved the patty melt. The sauce was like bright, zingy, everything you want from a patty melt. It was extremely rich, but like, you know, that is the price of admission for a patty melt. Yeah. The thing that's really bothered me about some of the reception to Max and Helen.
Whoa.
Gonna throw up here, too much Celsius. The thing that's really bothered me about some of the reception to Max and Helen's, like, for example, Grub Street just did their review. They like flew out somebody from New York to like review Max and Helen's, right? They were like, you know, at the end of the day, it's just a diner. I think also Eater just said that. And everyone is on this narrative that it's just not worth waiting 6 hours for. Even our friend Comfy with Carrie, that was her whole thing. It's like, you can't be waiting 6 hours for this. I think we should not punish a restaurant for how popular it is.
That, I think you're probably right.
Like, we can't be just because people want to go, blame the fucking people who want to go.
100%.
Don't blame the restaurant.
100%, dude.
So,
literally, it's not, I mean, look, obviously it's not easy for everyone in the city to access. Plan it out a little bit. Yeah. Like, be judicious. And
or wait it out.
Yeah, wait it out. Literally, that's what I did. I live 2 blocks away. I just waited it out.
Yeah, you waited like what, a month and a half, 2 months?
2 months.
Yeah.
2 months, right? And I'm like, it's gonna chill out. I was like walking down Larchmont doing other stuff, and I was like, I noticed no line. I went to the hostess and I was like, hey, so what's the deal? Do you guys have like? She's like, come around 4:35 weeknight. You're good.
Yeah.
Boom. Awesome.
Great service, by the way.
Yeah, excellent service.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's where I stand on Max and Helen's, okay? Yeah. I stand with Max and Helen. Yeah. Both of them.
I 100% agree with your take on the lines. You should not wait in line 6 hours for diner food.
No.
Don't do that. That's silly. That's like that is your fault. If you do that, it's your fault. Don't
Yeah. If you do that and you're pissed,
it's just a diner, guys.
Yeah.
It is, and it's a pricey diner, and it's so far like slightly elevated. The burger was heavily seasoned. I would say it was like pretty salty patty.
It is, but like diners exist to like grease you up, right?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
They exist to like cure your hangover.
100%.
To be that sort of respite for you.
My only other nitpick, and this is just like a personal way, like style and way of sitting. I don't know if people can see. I'm like man spreading on my own. Like the stools at the bar are drilled into the ground. Yeah. Meaning, I can't. I like to move and lounge and spread.
Yes.
Because of that, like. I just like the flexibility to move my seat around wasn't there. I understand why they did it. It makes for a much like more organized experience.
Yeah.
But I like at the end I was like my low back was bugging me and shit. Again, personal problem, not their problem. But my only thing was like next time I'm gonna try and sit at a table instead of at the bar.
Yeah. Yeah. But then again, the bar is like that quintessential diner experience.
I know.
It's a real Sophie's Chocho, as they say. And we're trying to bring back on this podcast. All right, let me tell you about my recent eats before we get to our shared recent eats. First of all, it was my birthday. Happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday to you, baby.
No, you were there for my birthday, so you don't have to wish me happy birthday. But my wife planned a really chill day. She asked me, what do you want to do for your birthday? It's on Super Bowl Sunday. And she was like, do you want to have a Super Bowl party?
Yeah.
I'm like, absolutely fucking not.
Before she checked with you, she recruited me to help scout potential locations for said surprise Super Bowl party.
Yeah.
And then she was like, you know what? Maybe check with him. And then she immediately texted me like, yeah, he fucking hates the idea. I'm like taking down EPLP or whatever, all the E-Rustic in. We're like, we're not going. Yeah.
There are two reasons why I thought it was a bad idea. Mm-hmm. One, so fucking tired, bro. Like I didn't want like a party. You know, I wanted an opportunity to just like chill out.
You say this, and yet we have plans next Sunday that would very much conflict with this representation.
Well, because I'm not tired right now. He's talking about the fact that Sunday we are organizing an epic Echo Park bar crawl.
Yeah. So I thought we might keep it a surprise, but now we have to do it.
No, now we have to do it. And dear listener, if you happen to be in Echo Park between the hours of 3 and like, I don't know, midnight on Sunday, then hit us up, I guess. Yeah. But she took me to a place in Topanga Canyon called Endless Color. And it's this really cool like pizza / natural wine / vinyl bar. It feels like a tree house. Great place. And I know you are always looking for this to take out of towners.
Yes.
Because Topanga Canyon, not a place where there's a ton of restaurants going on.
Right.
It's like well situated sort of above Malibu. So you can take people like on the PCH so they can see the ocean and take them on that beautiful drive. You hang a right on what I think is the 27, and then you end up in Topanga Canyon, and there's this beautiful little restaurant that's really well decorated, great natural wine selection, and the pizzas are very good. I released the score today. It was a 72.5, but that's a pretty good score for pizza.
How have the pizza scores been looking? What's like the range?
So I'm a lot harsher on pizzas than I am on burgers.
Yeah.
So I think that for a pizza, a good score that you can walk away with like your head held high is like anything above a 70.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's like a huge shift in the grading curve.
It is. But I'm judging based on more things.
Right.
I'm judging based on a bunch of different things having to do with dough, including fermentation, stretch, bake, and then toppings. There's, yes, the quality of the toppings, but also the distribution.
Right.
I just think I understand pizza fundamentally more than I do burgers.
Yeah, I also do. Well, burgers have variety, for sure. They do. Yeah.
No, but you're right that the difference between a great burger and a good burger,
not as big. Right?
Not as big.
Yeah.
Not as big.
Yeah, burgers will hit.
Between like a mid pizza, Endless Color, take guys are there. I hope to be invited. The other restaurant, so later that night on my birthday, we went to Abbot Kinney. My wife wanted to take me to a like cool speakeasy bar where they have pizza that comes up from like a what's it called, like a basket, like a pulley basically, to the second floor. I don't know if they're still doing that because it was from Fiorelli Pizza, which used to operate on Abbot Kinney, but now is open to shop on West 3rd. So I'm not sure if that's still happening at this bar, which I believe is called Force of Nature. Still looks like a cool bar though. But because they weren't doing pizza that night, after we had watched Bad Bunny's halftime show, which we will come back to, we were getting peckish, and Felix was right next door, and I was like, I can't go celebrate my birthday at an Evan Funky property. That just feels spiritually wrong. You know, I don't want them to have to celebrate me either. You know, that just, it feels like, yeah, it's rude, right? But I was thinking, what other restaurant was in Abbot Kinney? And River came to mind. Now, you might be surprised because that was not a meal that I particularly enjoyed the first time.
Every time we talk about it, you are a little bit more negative in
every
your
time
experience.
Yeah,
like it was like solid, but like not I'm crazy, and now you're going down. I had a great time, let it be known.
Yeah, it is known. It is well known. Well, it was a little bit altruistic of me because my wife is a huge Japanese food fan.
Yeah,
she loves a good hand roll, and I know that they had hand rolls on the menu, so I was like, babe, you've done so much for me today. Let's go get you something you like. I'm good. I'm not that hungry. I'll have a hand roll. We'll have a couple vegetables, a beer. It'll be fine. We go there. We get a seat at the bar. It's like 6 p.m. or something on a Sunday. The vibe is feels completely different than when we went the first time.
Yeah.
When we went the first time.
Was it a Thursday or a Friday?
It was a Thursday or a Friday. It was nighttime.
Yeah.
It was about as buzzy as could possibly be.
Yeah.
And it felt just like we were entering a scene, you know? This time it felt like I was entering a neighborhood restaurant.
Yeah.
And sitting at the bar, enjoying the bites with that in that sort of like context, having a cold Orion draft beer, everything hit different.
Wow.
The food was probably the same exact food we had last time.
This is insulting. This is maybe Moses' line to say. Do you just get stressed out eating with Sammy? Is that what you're saying?
Maybe it could be. Like, he adds a lot of pressure to my meals where I feel like I have to be like in super critical mode or something. I don't know. But I shit you not. Last time, I think what I said was everything we had was good, but not great. I stand by that with a lot of the dishes we had, even with my wife. But one dish that I had, which was one of the best things I've had in recent memory, was their uni hand roll. So, uni, are you a fan?
Yeah.
So, you know, a lot of times when you're getting uni on dishes, it's kind of an afterthought. It's kind of mushy. It's clearly not been handled always perfectly, and some of it is missing. These motherfuckers found a way I think they just handled the uni properly, but the most luscious, thick Santa Barbara uni tucked in a perfectly executed hand roll with the crispiest nori.
Wow.
And people underrate crispy nori in a hand roll.
Yeah, sure.
And just that detail, the simplicity of it, a little bit of ginger in there, I think, too, but just the simplicity of it. I actually had the experience where I had one, and it was a $25 hand roll. I ordered another one because it was that good. I spent $50 on 2 uni hand rolls, 0 regrets. My only regret, not getting a third one, honestly. It was
happy for you, man.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you to succeed at life, first of all.
Yeah.
Some of us are like more perceptive and able to identify a good restaurant on the first go, but I'm glad you figured it out on your second.
No, you know what it is, man? I do think sometimes I go in with a preconceived notion that if something has too much hype, I had a bit of a comfy with Carrie moment, you know? Where I'm like, this place has huge expectations and I'm going in to basically sniff out the scam. And the thing is, there was no scam that night. I just wasn't blown out of the water.
You scammed yourself.
I scammed myself.
Yeah.
I scammed myself out of the enjoyment.
I suspect Carrie might scam herself a lot too.
To be fair, she goes to a lot of places that are legitimately scams, like the Ivy. Come on now. But yeah, anyways, I just wanted to offer River a sincere apology because the first time it was very much a mistake by me. And this is clearly a very special restaurant. I think it's even more special if you can treat it as a neighborhood izakaya that you just stumble into.
And we're about to get to this with our shared eats. Every restaurant in this phase of life where I am right now, thinking of any restaurant that can make itself feel like a neighborhood restaurant makes me happier. Yeah. I'm like a happier person. Yes, I still like the arts district, like statement spot or whatever.
Yeah. Larger than life.
Yeah. Right. That feels like a moment. It feels like a night. I do like that. But more and more it is, and this seems to be the trend of the city as a whole relative to 5-6 years ago or whatever, that the neighborhood restaurant or excellent restaurants with neighborhood kind of roots and vibe that are more dispersed, frankly, are coming back versus of course, River's on Abbot Kinney. That's I think it's somewhat of a statement area. You got your stuff there. But that energy, I think, is more and more desirable.
And then another little detail that just made the experience even better was we're sitting right by the host stand, and the host stand gets a call, and they're like, "Oh, the chef of Pas Joli wants to come in for dinner. Is there a spot at the bar?" And my wife overhears this and says, "Don't you know that guy?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, I've interviewed him for the podcast."
Yeah.
And lo and behold, I'm expecting Chef Dave Barron to come in because my wife overheard he's coming in with like some important people.
Wow.
I'm expecting him to come in with like, I don't know, like fucking
Casey Wasserman?
Casey, yeah. Friend of the pod, Casey Wasserman. We'll get into that in a different episode, dear listener. Probably not. But he comes in with his 4-year-old daughter, bro. They're on daddy-daughter date night.
Person of all.
Yeah, daddy-daughter date night. And they sidle up to the bar, order hand rolls. I say hi before we leave because we're actually going to Celine soon.
Yeah, that's right.
Which I think we need to coordinate dates on.
Week, hopefully.
Yes, that's in the plans, which I'm super excited for.
Very excited.
And just seeing him out to dinner with his, like, I hope I'm not doxing them or anything, but
you are a little bit.
I'm sorry, chef, but it was just such an awesome like neighborhood moment. And I could tell this is their neighborhood. This is a spot that they like to go to. I don't know, man. River really convinced me this time. So apologies.
Welcome to the right side of history.
Welcome to the right side of history. A side I'm not off and on. Now let's talk about our shared eats, okay? I wanted to talk about my birthday dinner, which you attended. You and your lovely fiance, soon-to-be wife, Emily, drove out to Sierra Madre to surprise me at dinner at a newish restaurant I discovered called Bess. It's on the main drag there of Sierra Madre. How would you describe Bess to our listeners?
Lovely little neighborhood red sauce Italian classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the ilk of like some of these newer red sauce spots that have opened like Donna's.
Right.
But no frills.
Yeah.
No pretension. Very decent prices, probably because they're out in Sierra Madre, but like a chicken parm was $24.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure that's like a $42 dish at Donna's. Lasagna was great. Some really good cavatappi with mushrooms. Beer and wine program. It's not like any individual dish like blew my mind or anything, but it was such an enjoyable, hospitable experience. I kind of can't wait to go back.
Everything was above average and well executed, right? Yeah. It was the perfect amount of food that they recommended. It was excellent service. And it just felt like easy and happy making.
Yeah.
It was just like a very just like pleasant dinner. I enjoyed everything we had. There wasn't a single thing that I like. The standout to me was a mushroom?
Cavatappi.
Yes, that was excellent. That
yeah,
was really tasty.
They threw in some like scallions in there for whatever reason. Not traditional at all, but it worked. Yeah, and I don't know, man. I felt like we had been transported to like the East Coast, and you and I were like factory workers or something, going out to dinner with our wives.
I feel like you have a very incorrect picture of that lifestyle.
Probably. Is it a little romanticized?
I
sure.
will say, as I mentioned this last time for Antico Nuovo, which I would like to return to, maybe with you. But I haven't been feeling enthusiastic about pastas at restaurants. And when I looked at the menu for Best before we went, I was like, all right. Like I wasn't like super psyched about anything in particular.
Yeah.
Those pastas really hit. I don't know what it was about them. I don't know what it was about the place. Maybe I'm just like reintegrating pasta into my restaurant diet. But I was like, no, this is really nice and lovely. Also, great thing they do that's shared plates. They really do a good job of preparing their dishes for share.
Right. What a pet peeve that is, right? And they're like, hey, we do things a little bit differently here. It's all shared plates. You're going to want to order about 47 of them. Yeah. And then they come to your table and they're impossible to share.
Yeah.
Like, how does one share?
You have a hunk of chicken cutlet that you have to like awkwardly like maul to each other.
Yeah. Or like, we're about to talk about Lucia, but like, you know, if 4 people had to share those like Wagyu beef patties, you'd be in some trouble.
You got to get 4.
Yeah. Right. Smart business move, actually, on their part. Yeah. But Bess, I think we can highly recommend it. I'll be going back. And let's talk about our final shared meal. This was on the Friday before my birthday. We went to go check out Lucia on Fairfax, the Caribbean joint, which is, you know, you described to me as a club restaurant. And yeah, it had club restaurant vibes when you walk in. But their chef, Ophis Heathington, is doing something really cool for the month of February. He's doing a meal called Africa the Source, which every week there's like 3 dishes which are meant to highlight a different part of the diaspora. So we went week 1 and the 3 dishes, I think they were, I'm going to fuck this up, but I think they were highlighting Eastern Africa.
No, just Africa.
Just Africa in general?
It was like Africa week. Yeah.
No,
So,
dude, it's all Africa week.
No,
the menu is called Africa.
It's Black History Month. Week 1 is Africa. Then they do like a Caribbean week, and then I'm looking it up right now so we don't fuck this up. But
wow, I think I just got canceled on my own podcast. But
mostly where people get canceled, I think, to be fair.
It is on their own podcast. The call always comes from inside the house. But I remember the 3 dishes that were on our Africa the Source menu. One was called Red Red. It was a shrimp dish.
Yeah.
Head on shrimp, fantastic.
That was good.
Over some black-eyed peas, I want to say. Really tasty. Then we had a tagliatelle, which was in something called a Negusi stew.
Yeah, that was interesting. That was a bitter taste I wasn't expecting. I still liked it, but that was like a oh, this is a very specific flavor that I'm not used to, and it's fun to eat and like learn about. But it was like not what I was expecting when I had the dish.
Right. Well, because it comes out and it looks like red sauce tagliatelle.
Yeah.
But because it's in that stew, it's got like a completely different flavor profile than what you were expecting.
Yeah.
And then we had the rack of lamb.
Yeah.
Rack of lamb, which came in a jus of sorts.
I mean, the sauce on that rack of lamb was just fucking delicious.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah, and that's the level of insight you're going to get from us.
I mean, look, what are you going to say? It's so fucking good. By the way, first of all, a couple things on Lucia.
Well, because you'd been before.
I've been the first week it opened, I think.
Right.
I'm really excited about having that restaurant in LA. The first time I went, I didn't know that it was like kind of a more. I mean, I went in like my typical polo and shorts and like hokas.
Oh yeah, because you showed up so different this time.
I wore pants at least,
and you tucked in.
And I tucked in.
You tucked in.
I knew what to expect because people are like Lucia is a night, man, and like people are like it was almost like a bachelorette party next to us or something. Like
I think that was just their night out.
I mean, people were like partying, they're like happy and loud. The music is going, good music.
It's contagious. It's contagious.
So good.
Yeah.
Like, people are like dressed to the fucking nines. You have like kind of it's like a luxurious vibe outside, and what they're doing with their food program is so cool. The menu has changed almost entirely for me, except for with the exception of one dish, which was the patties, the Wagyu patties, which is still had on the menu. Everything else looked different because they have a new chef, and it seems like their intention is to rotate chefs semi-regularly to feature different aspects of like the African diaspora and different
Caribbeans,
and feature different elements of the food, which is so cool. And Black History Month, just so we get it correct, each week the restaurant's highlighting a different part of like the Black, I think, diaspora, they call it, African diaspora. So week 1 was Africa, the Source.
That makes sense.
Next week, February 11th to 15th, is Afro-Latino.
Oh, sick. I want to go back.
I know, yeah, dude, right? Then it's Caribbean, and then it's Black America.
Hell yeah. Oh my God, those are all going to be fire.
You want to go every week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this week is Afro-Caribbean.
This week is Afro-Latino.
Afro-Latino, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's really exciting. Good to know. I think I'm going to want to go for Black America. That sounds like an interesting one. But yeah, I appreciate that. Our server, Isaiah, told us that like the mission of the restaurant is that a lot of Caribbean food in Los Angeles, when we say Caribbean, we're actually talking about Jamaican food.
Yeah.
And they really try to highlight other parts of the Afro-Caribbean landscape. So Haiti,
other
Barbados. I could get
that
there.
Bunny would be ashamed.
He would. But all over, right? So that really came through. So for example, one of my favorite dishes we had was something called pastelon.
Yeah.
It was that like plantain, made out of plantain, almost like lasagna thing, which is Cuban roots, Dominican roots from that part of the world.
Yeah.
Like that's a dish I have not seen on other menus in Los Angeles because it's a very rare type of cuisine to get here. And seeing it in that setting, like this beautiful, gorgeous restaurant in one of the like hottest real estate parts of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Such a power to that.
Yeah. 100%. This like it's one of those things where you can basically order the full menu, and we almost
did. We
really almost did.
Yeah.
The plantain expressions made me so happy. That was so good.
It's like plantain 3 ways, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And just like maduros, plantain sauce, plantain chips. The patties are not to be missed. I still have probably my favorite bite on the menu. We had the green fig leaf fish roast, which was great, and the meat was great that we got as well. But really, also all 4 sides.
Bro, that one side dish.
Are you talking about the cuckoo?
The cuckoo.
I love
the cuckoo. I would go back just for a bowl of cuckoo.
100%. Yeah.
That was it. First of all, it was like garnished with popcorn, which just a fun little whimsical touch.
Yeah.
But just the depth of flavor in that porridge was like
It's a polenta corn, carrot jam, Epi's popcorn, pepitas, and parmesan.
Damn.
Delicious.
It was so good. Yeah, it was like, I mean, honestly, when I compare that to like Italian polenta, I'm like, we should be fucking ashamed of ourselves. Like, we just half-ass it. We don't do anything with it. This had so much flavor in it, heat. It was honestly like kind of an insult to call it a side dish.
Yeah. I would happily have that for dinner.
Yeah. All right, Lucia, I think we recommend.
100%.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, we didn't mention, but the cocktails.
Yeah, excellent cocktail program.
Really, really good. I had like a clarified rum mezcal cocktail. It was, I felt like I was on a beach somewhere. It was fucking fantastic. So.
Yeah. And shout out Isaiah. Excellent waiter.
Excellent server, which I think is the politically correct term.
Sorry.
But he gave us a full rundown of the menu in a way. Full rundowns of the menu are tricky.
Yeah.
Because it can
take too much time.
No,
it can go on a little bit. Yeah,
and it can put you to sleep. It can really kill the fucking vibe.
It can kill the vibe.
Yeah.
No, we were excited about it, and he brought excitement with it and knowledge, right, and a perspective. He was a popular fellow.
And we've talked about it too, like the right balance of storytelling for a restaurant, where you don't want to be preaching to your customer, you don't want to be like boring them to death with like a TED talk or something, but you also want to give them enough context so that they can somehow connect with what you're trying to do. And literally that one tidbit Isaiah gave us of, in Los Angeles, you're going to find Jamaican food when it comes to Caribbean. Here's what Chef Ophis is trying to do.
Yeah. Something
switched on in my brain and I was like, let's fucking go.
Yeah.
So, Lucia, congratulations. Great restaurant. We can't wait to come back. We've already talked a lot, actually, but we're going to skip straight to Chef's Kiss Big Miss because we've got an interview with Alison Roman after the break.
I feel really guilty that you put these amazing guests after me. They should probably lead the podcast. Look, people can like stick around for our stupid stuff later.
I will in the intro like tell them where they can skip to if they want to skip straight to Alison, which no offense taken. If you want to do that, she is a force of nature. And
I'll be more offended if you listen to us first.
Yes.
Honestly.
Yeah. Please don't listen to us at all, even. Just skip straight to Alison. But that's why we're going to run through Chef's Kiss Big Miss and not do a big deal of the day. So, you ready?
Let's do it.
Former head of fermentation at Noma, Jason Ignacio White, has caused quite the stir on social media by sharing first-hand accounts of abuse he and others observed at the 3 Michelin star restaurant. Known on Instagram as Microbes Vibes, Jason has shared stories of a woman being burned in the face and laughed at, and Renee himself stabbing someone with a barbecue fork. Jason is organizing a peaceful protest in LA in March to shine a light on Renee and Noma's wrongdoings. So, stabbing someone with a barbecue fork. Chef's Kiss or Big Miss?
So, this sounds bad. I'm not gonna lie. If you burned your face, I would laugh. I would 100% laugh.
Depends how.
So the tone is big here. Now, just based on like what seems to be like the mounting evidence and like of like maybe poor labor practices, not so good. But if it's like a friendly like prod.
No, I don't think it was. No,
between friends.
No, I don't think Renee makes friends.
I would totally stab you with a barbecue fork.
You would. But would you stab me to the point that you draw blood?
Did that happen?
I think so.
That's bad.
That's like drawing blood.
Also, obviously, power dynamic of like most famous chef in the world.
Yeah, you have no power over me.
I mean, I don't know.
We're not talking about sexual power here, okay? No, I mean the sort of bigger story here. It's not just the barbecue fork. It's the fact that like people who have worked at Noma in the past have been sharing their accounts with Jason, and he's been acting as like sort of like a distributor of these stories.
Right.
And now he's leading this peaceful protest. A little more seriously, what do you think of the idea of a peaceful protest for a pop-up?
Timely. I'm curious how much momentum it'll get.
Yeah.
Like how good is Jason as an organizer?
Bro, there are rumblings that people are latching onto this. He was sharing screenshots.
March through the dinner is what you gotta do.
That would be a move.
I mean, are we trying to be effective or not here? What are we trying to get at?
Well, I just think like, at what point does marching through the dinner become not peaceful anymore?
Sure. I mean, it's up to the people who are participating to be peaceful. They would have like just sitting. No, here's the move. Everyone's sitting out like doing dinner. Just sit and watch them.
I will say, even just like a large gaggle of protesters with like signs outside of this dinner I've paid $1,500 for, it's gonna make my dick a little soft.
What is the ask here?
That's a good question. What is the call to action?
What are we trying to get done here?
I'm not. Well, so I think he's trying to bring down the beast of Noma.
He's trying to end Noma.
I think he's trying to end Noma, bro.
Is that confirmed? We're trying to change Noma. Like, what can Noma be?
I don't think Noma can be changed.
Can I tell you something? By the way, you know what's aged really poorly?
What?
The fucking bear. Which shows Noma in this like peaceful, chill, learning, blah 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 vibe, right?
Yeah.
Real like whitewashing of the vibe, which I think also, by the way, may have even sparked some of this like
for sure
from some of the response being like, hey, like that's not the vibe.
They also painted Thomas Keller as like totally normal dude.
Totally chill.
Totally chill. Doesn't care about anything, you know? Which not the case if you ask Mackenzie Chung Fegan of the San Francisco Chronicle. So it sounds like we're giving this I hope we're giving this a big miss.
Well, wait, what part of it are we giving?
Well, okay.
Stabbing with a barbecue fork?
Yes.
Yeah, not so good.
Peaceful protest.
Maybe. Yeah.
You think Chef's Kiss?
Interesting. I need to learn more about this.
Okay.
Are we going? Is the question.
Well, let's put it this way. If Noma invites us for dinner, we won't go.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
But if they don't,
blackmail, but
if they don't, we're fucking protesting, and we're doing it peacefully. All right, next one. During Bad Bunny's epic Super Bowl performance this weekend, a familiar LA food face made an appearance. Blinking, you might have missed it, but Highland Park's favorite son, Victor Villa of Villa's Tacos fame, was seen operating a faux taco puesto and being handed a drink from none other than El Conejo Malo himself. In an interview with LA Times' Stephanie Brejo, Victor called the experience an honor of the highest level. During a time where immigrants are frowned upon, we were there to reinforce that we're just about love, he said. Saul, was Victor Villa representing LA at the biggest show on planet Earth an unequivocal chef's kiss, a powerful reminder of the power of hospitality and the impact of Mexican culture on America? Or is your hatred of Villa's Tacos so deeply entrenched within your psyche that you can't help but give this a big miss?
I do not hate Villa's Tacos. I don't hate Villa's Tacos. I just think it's a slightly overrated taco. That's all. Huge chef's kiss. That's awesome. And by the way, Victor's energy, which obviously is what I think in large part put Villa's Tacos on the map, seemed to be the perfect fit for the occasion, right? So yeah, that's really cool and good for Victor for sure.
I mean, it was. Did you watch it live?
Well, yes, I had to do it on a slight delay because we watched the Super Bowl with Emily's brother and his wife, and they stepped out for a minute.
Got it.
And then came back. But initially we were just gonna watch with them, and then it's like literally 2 seconds into it starting, it was like, pause, I need to see this.
Yeah.
This is gonna be cool. Like,
yeah.
You can tell. And so like we waited for them. So watch on a slight, like a 5-minute delay or something.
Right. No, but you were watching it.
You were watching it live. We were watching the Super Bowl live. Right.
Paying attention. Yeah. Did you clock Victor?
I fucking didn't.
Wow.
I was so focused on Bad Bunny, dude.
Yeah.
He has so much.
He has so much swag, dude.
Dude, when he turned around and started what Diti Me Pregunta was the song?
Yep.
Like I was like, yo, I'm in.
Yeah.
This is cool.
Oh, I love fucking Bad Bunny, bro. But I clocked it. We were at a bar on Abercrombie. The sound was completely crapping out, so we basically watched it like in silence.
Damn.
But I fucking recognized Victor.
Well, the funny thing is, when you watch the Super Bowl halftime show on TV, the sound is never good. Like no matter the show, like it just never quite envelops you, right?
Yeah.
Whereas if you go so you watch it for the production and the vibes and the performance, which were possibly the best in history. Like it's up there. It's up there as like in sort of like in terms of the actual production and the vision of the thing.
Yeah. Not what Fox News is saying, but okay.
Sure. Two sides to every story. But I thought it hit on that level, and then when I went back and I rewatched it on YouTube with my headphones in, then the music hit as well.
Yeah. Okay, well, you know what we're going to be playing on this part of the podcast. So Chef's Kiss, Victor, congratulations. So happy for you, bro. Sorry about the Bill Esparza thing. Next one. Sticking with the LA Times, friend of the pod, Jen Harris, was formally elevated to the post of restaurant critic alongside the esteemed Bill Addison. To say we are thrilled for her would be the understatement of the year, right, Lauria Cho and Daniel Hernandez? Her new role is effective immediately. Saul, Jen being promoted from columnist to critic, an inspiring chef's kiss that proves to the non-believers that hard work does indeed pay off, or a big miss, perhaps born from a sense of grief that you were once again passed over for the role?
I don't know why you started doing this on Chef's Kiss. Big miss. Congratulations, Jen. Very cool. Chef's kiss.
We're so happy.
The way you've been doing this is odd. I mean, look, it's a performance. I'm happy.
It's called comedy. Learn about it. Okay.
Is it that?
Jen, congratulations. We're super happy for you. I mean, she's already been, they always say like dress for the job you want, not the one you have. She's been doing this job already.
Yeah.
It feels like. So it's really cool to see her like be elevated to that. I got a sneaky prediction for you.
Okay.
Jen Harris will one day be restaurant critic for the New York Times.
Oh, for the New York Times.
Yeah.
Interesting. So a Tejal Rao successor?
There's a well-established pipeline of Los Angeles to New York. Only one person has done it, but Ruth Reichel did it. I think Jen, if she wants it, if that's still viewed as like the biggest game in town, I think she could do it someday.
Interesting prediction.
Yeah.
What job are you dressing for? I mean, when you had the mullet, it was like Gen Z fail son.
I'm obviously dressing for Australian OnlyFans model.
I see it. Yeah, I see that.
Yeah. Or undressing, I should say. Okay, switching gears to the New York Times. Tejal Rao reviewed David Chang's Super Peach at the Century City Mall. Rao gave the restaurant a tepid 2 stars, writing, "Super Peach might be Momofuku in its gentle dad era. The music not too loud, the chairs quite comfortable, and the puffy crackers with lime and tagine right on the table, sweetie, if you want a little nibble." The piece actually reads quite positively if you really read it, but the overall gist is of a restaurant group that's done subverting expectations and content with playing it somewhat safe, oftentimes to enduringly delicious results nonetheless. So, based on Tejal's review of Super Peach, does it sound like a chef's kiss we need to add to our to-do list, or a big miss that we only need to go to if and when our better halves drag us to the mall for a day of compulsory consumerism?
I mean, ultimately, it sounds like the latter. The next time I'm at the escape game at Century City Mall doing an escape room, I will and check it out. I was never in a rush, and this review, I think, continues the trend of Tejal and Ligaya revisiting kind of established institutions of the past, couple decades of dining in America, and kind of giving them a second, or essentially updating our impression of them, right? I mean, Major Domo is still is rising up the ranks of the LA Times 101. Like, I think Dave Chang has all that, but it seems to follow that line of like, we're going back to Alinea and French Laundry, and we're revisiting the Momofuku empire a little bit, and giving them a sharper eye. And so, yeah, I'm not saying like I would still probably enjoy Super Peach. I think well enough. I wouldn't be surprised if I try it once and then head right back to Din Tai Fung.
Yeah, it's like stop in with your parents. And let me ask you this, right? Is it kind of like embarrassing that their takedowns are of these super well-established players? Like, why don't they, like, come on, easy targets? Why, like, to do a takedown of a mom and pop shop? Go to the local.
Why aren't they punching down?
Yeah. Like, go to the local Frutero and give them 1 star. Be like, this mango was overripe.
No, I think it's a really interesting strategy to kick off the era.
Yeah. It's good. It's safe, but interesting.
Is it? I mean, I suppose it is quote unquote safe, but it's also, well, it's like intentionally turning a page that might have basically already been turned for most people, but they're kind of like putting it on record.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah. So they're sort of like out with the old, in with the new.
Yeah.
So they're out with the old phase.
Yeah,
I could see that. We'll see. Time will tell. All right, last one. Friend of the pod, Matt Kang, penned a piece in Eater asking the question every God-fearing liberal has been muttering to themselves for the better part of a year. Is it okay to like the Tesla diner? After confessing that he himself owns a Tesla, Kang also admits that the food is pretty dang good, maybe even better than when it opened. Saul, liking the Tesla diner, chef's kiss or big miss?
You know how I said, like, I'm in a diner era, and all I want is like a diner menu and experience, and that's what we're missing from this country. I wasn't talking about the Tesla diner when I said that. Yeah, I'm not like, look, shout out to Matt for saying the truth. Like, he's giving a true opinion, and I'm looking at the menu, and it looks all right. I'm not mad at it. I'm not going to be checking out the Tesla diner anytime soon.
Political statement?
I don't have a Tesla.
Yeah.
And it's just like corny. I think it's a good. By the way, I think it's a good take. Like, the food, if it's good, truly good. And by the way, when it opened, people also noted it was not bad. Like, it was decent food. I drive past it on my way to get haircuts all the time. It's like right down Santa Monica, I believe.
Sure.
And I'm just like, I'm not interested. If it's for homework for this podcast, I'll eat it. But otherwise, I'm not going out of my way.
You're a diligent student. Yeah, no, honestly, like, I'm going to give this a chef's kiss because we've talked a lot of shit about Eater in the past. Of them just being like a dying publication. This shows me Matt understands SEO and clicks and rage bait. So.
Have we said they were a dying publication? We've just been mourning them, I thought.
Yeah, we're not killing them, but we're just saying like they've been.
It's bummer, yeah.
Yeah, it's like we've been sad to see them downsized over the years. Mm-hmm. I really like their newsletter strategy.
Yeah.
Like I think Kangtown is a fantastic newsletter. Yeah. I think Rebecca Rowland even put out one today about Max and Helen's.
Oh, nice.
And that was a really fun read. So I like that strategy, and I like this rage bait headline. Good job, Matt. Saul, anything else you want to
add? No, that's what I got. Let's go eat some tacos, man.
Have you ever cooked from an Alison Roman book?
You know what? I think I've cooked her recipes on the New York Times.
Yeah.
Not from one of her cookbooks, I don't think.
Well, she did have some bangers on the New York Times, to be fair.
And that's how we're here.
Yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll be right back after the break with none other than Alison Roman. Welcoming to the LA Food Podcast, someone I am extremely excited to speak to. You know her as one of the foremost cookbook authors in America. I know her as the woman who got me through the pandemic. It's Alison Roman. Alison, how are you today?
Oh, I'm so good. How are you?
I'm awesome. Hey, we start every conversation with an icebreaker, and I have a very special one for you. I've heard you reference DJ James Kennedy on past podcasts. My question for you is, are you watching the reboot of Vanderpump Rules on Bravo?
So that was a very specific Bravo focused podcast, I feel like. And my knowledge is so limited to, it's not about the pasta. So no, is the long answer. I would be lying if I said it was my thing. It's not my thing.
Well, that's good to know. You know, it's not, it shouldn't be everybody's thing. And it seems like you've got enough on your plate.
Yeah. I like the idea of, I'm happy it's in the world, but yeah, I can't. It's too much to keep up on.
What are you keeping up on these days?
Oh my God, like The Pit.
Oh, I hear great things.
Season 2, which, yeah, I mean, I am so bad at, I was talking about this actually the other day with a friend, how bad I am at keeping up with like any sort of episodic television show. Like if there's more than 3 seasons, I'm out. Like I cannot continue watching the same show. So I'm really into sort of more limited things. So I don't keep up with much these days.
Yeah. Well, as I said, it seems like you got a lot on your plate. And speaking about a lot on your plate, let's get right into it. Your latest book, Something from Nothing, you know, you have been literally everywhere on my social media feed for what feels like the last 6 months straight. My first question for you is, how did you survive the book tour, no less with a child this time?
Yeah, it was really tough. And not in like a complainy way, just more like there are 24 hours in a day and it's like you can only do so much. And luckily so much of press is now done sort of like the way we're doing this now. So I can be at home and I don't have to leave. I'm wearing sweatpants. You can't tell. And, you know, it's when you have to leave the house that things get tricky. But yeah, it was definitely a different beast than the books I had made before and gone on the road to promote. And I think in conjunction with having a, you know, almost 1-year-old at the time, it was also my 4th book. So there's just like less to talk about. You know, you're not constantly introducing yourself to people, but at the same time, you know, hopefully your audience is growing. So you kind of are. And it's funny that you say that, like, oh, my social media was you a lot. And I talked to some people, they're like, I didn't even know you came out with a book.
Really?
And I was like, how did that not cross your desk? Like, I really thought I was covering every single base I could cover, every podcast, every TV show, every newsletter. Like I thought I was being so annoying. I was like, people are surely so sick of me. And yet you still encounter people that are like, oh yeah, literally had no idea. They're like, I wish I'd known you were going on a book tour. I was like, what? That's all I talk about. So it's tough to know.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of speaks to like the fragmented nature of the internet these days. And it feels like you do just have to be everywhere to reach anyone.
Yeah. And I think the risk of annoying people or alienating people with like your omnipresence is a risk that everybody, like a gamble you take. But the alternative is nobody knows about the project that you just spent all your time and money and effort on. And I think for anyone making work in the world, whether it's like writing a book or an album or a movie, like you want people to see it and you want people to read it. You want people to like experience the thing that you really care about. And, with marketing budgets from publishers or companies or, studios being what they are, I think it's really up to the individual to like make sure that the message gets out, which can be annoying, but it is what it is.
Totally. So you talk about this being your fourth book and how you didn't sort of have the luxury of like introducing yourself to the audience as sort of making that your pitch for the book. How did that change how you talked about like, the book on tour and how you still talk about the book in terms of like a selling point for people, maybe meeting you for the first time or that already know you?
I think the luxury of it being the fourth book is that at this point, if you do know who I am and you're still with me, then that you like my work and you're sort of used to a certain style that I have, a certain recipe I develop. Like you're like, well, I know it's going to look pretty good. It's going to work. And I can bet on this. And I think having that trust with an audience is something that you only earn over time. And so I'm really grateful to have that. And on the opposite end, you're sort of like, this is who I am and this is what I'm about. And certain people are like, well, we know. And certain people are like, who are you? Like, so you don't really know who you're talking to. And so there are advantages and disadvantages of doing this for the fourth time because you do sort of, you're like, yep, I still love anchovies. And yep, I still, like this. I think that a person can, well, I guess, I don't know. I can only speak for myself that I don't feel like my style has evolved that drastically in the 8 years I've been making cookbooks, to say nothing of the, time I had been cooking before that. But it's kind of like you can't force an evolution. I'm not going to all of a sudden become a person who like cooks a different way just because I need to make another book.
For sure.
And so kind of just being like, nope, it's still me. It's sort of more of the same, but evolved. And if you liked that, you're going to love this. And if you didn't like that, you probably won't like this either.
Well, it's funny you say that because like on the surface, it feels like a different book. Like there's something that feels like very MTV Unplugged about it compared with your other books.
Yes. Yeah, it's giving VH1 storytellers for sure.
Yeah.
And I think that was an intentional choice. I think having written my first book when I was 31, it came out when I was 32, I was different than I am at 39. But I think most people in the world, when you look back at an 8-year gap in your life, you're like, yeah, I wear different clothes. My hair is different. I do different things. I maybe look different. Like every person goes through an evolution, but you're still who you are. And so I think that this was sort of like, I wear a different outfit now. Like it's a green book and the fonts are serif and the photography's analog. And, I think having those evolutions are natural in the human experience. And I know that for the rest of my career and the rest of my life, I don't have any interest in becoming married to like a certain aesthetic or style visually because that's not how I am as a person. And so I don't know why my work would follow suit.
That's also what kind of makes you an artist though, is like you're able to evolve. Like, and what I really appreciate is that every iteration of what you've done so far really feels like you. Now in this book, what would you say is a great example of a recipe that's like speaks to that evolution, but it's still very much Alison?
Like, more literally, there's, shallot pasta and like certain recipes that I published like maybe 6 years ago that I felt like really deserved a place in a book. And especially a book like this, which to me is extremely utilitarian. It's like a lot of classics. It's a lot of like, I think it's like if you own one book, it should be this one type of energy. And I think a lot of my personal favorites of like my personal history of like as a recipe writer, some of my best work never belonged in a book before. And so now it does. So I think like to that end, there's that. But I also think having the ability to visually switch things up felt really important.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it is really difficult when you're being perceived of like someone being like, oh, is this you? Does this feel like you? And I'm like, well, who am I? Like it becomes very existential very quickly.
Well, because you kind of have been like the cookbook pioneer of the last 10 years, especially from like a visual perspective, that sort of like bright, airy, natural light feel of dining in and nothing fancy. I feel like it became the industry norm, not just for cookbooks, but for like restaurant, social media, food media in general. And this is a big departure. It's like, is it an intentional zag, like strategically? Or is it just like, this is how you're feeling now?
Yeah, I'd say equal parts like organic and intentional.
Yeah.
I feel like every creative decision I've made has been a reaction to something else, has become a reaction to something that's maybe more mainstream or popular, and me wanting to do kind of the opposite of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when I was making Dining In, it came out in 2017. So this was like, 2016, 2015. I was thinking about the book, and what was really popular then were like these very sort of slate gray backgrounds and surfaces, very moody kind of energy, like very serious, Baroque,
Mm-hmm.
almost like medieval. It was giving cave, it was giving castle, giving bubonic plague. Like it was just like a heaviness and a darkness to a lot of these images.
Yeah.
And I was just like, God, it's so serious. It's like so serious. And that was obviously a creative reaction to sort of the more like goofy, cartoony images from like the 80s, perhaps the 90s. So everything is sort of a reaction to another thing that is maybe flooding our eyeballs at the time. And so I wanted to be like, no, we're like in the sun. We're in California. We are bright. We are colored glass. We are, messy and lived in. And like, I was sort of creating this reaction to what I had seen that didn't resonate with me, and carried that through the first, 2.5, 3 books.
Mm-hmm.
I say 2.5, 3 because I feel like Sweet Enough, the dessert book, had like its own aesthetic, but was more closely related to the first two. And that, yeah, you're right. That just became the thing. And images became indistinguishable from one another. I felt like you could always tell when someone was going for something and maybe not quite hitting it, because it's very hard to sort of nail like a natural aesthetic.
Yeah.
And some people were on their own path and doing their own creative visuals. But by and large, it's like if something's successful, I think there were many decisions are made to follow suit. And for better or for worse, whether it's a smart choice or not, my instinct is to always do the opposite. Like if something's really working and very popular, I'm like, I'm going to do the exact opposite of that. So even if it was like the thing that I helped create, or my style became sort of something that other people connected to, and not in like a defiant way, but I think maybe I just evolved into something else and was like, well, everything's like a little too polished, a little too, like things definitely went in a really intense direction, and brightly lit photos, highly saturated contrast in imagery, very poppy, very, and I just was like, okay, that's so not for me.
Yeah.
And I think because of the content of this book, which is like a lot of soups and stews and cozy, and it's like pantry, which you think of like colder months anyway, because it's sort of like your fall, winter is your pantry, your spring, summer can be your produce. And then occasionally the two overlap, especially if you live in California, maybe that's every day. But, on the East Coast, we're a little bit more beholden to seasonality. And I knew that it was going to be a fall book. And I thought, okay, well, I think that means everything should be photographed in natural light. I don't want to use a ton of flash. If it is going to be lit, I want it to be lit like we're eating at night, because why is every photograph in a cookbook of food in the middle of the day? Like we're eating dinner, it's nighttime. And if it's nighttime, it's always like high intense flash, which I also previously used a lot, but wanted to kind of stay away from this time.
It's a good point.
Yeah. So I think it was sort of like, what is the food? What is the season? What is the purpose of this book? How should it make you feel? And I wanted this book to feel like cozy sweater time. I wanted you to like pick it up and like hold it and connect with it and be like, God, I feel warm inside. I feel like excited to cook. I feel like thrilled that it's miserable outside. I feel enchanted by the idea that all I have are a can of beans. Like, I think that there was like a romanticism that I wanted to capture. And so that was very much intentional, and having like the imperfection of film photography in the book as well, without things just being like, because when you shoot something in digital, you take the picture, you look at it on the monitor, you can fuss with it 40 times before you nail the photo. And you're like, oh, I'm going to like move the herb this way. I'm going to like drizzle some more oil here. Like I cook all the food that is photographed. So I'm like working very closely with those images, obviously. And I will fuss with something until you can't fuss anymore. We'll get like 80 versions of something because I'm like, well, let's try it with this fork. Let's try it with this. Let's try it with that. Sometimes you nail it on the first shot, but with film photography, it's just like, I think why we're attracted to it when we like go to a party and we like to have our photos taken with film, because what you see is what you get. And you can't be like, oh, I look weird, take it again. Like you can't.
I know.
It is just what it is. It is the moment. It is what the food looks like, and we're going for it. And I was really excited by that challenge to sort of let go of my own attachment to imperfection or to perfection and embrace the imperfection, which is something I talk about a lot, but is very difficult for me to practice.
Well, that sounds like, part of my French, really fucking scary because like
It is.
you seem to have this instinct to like, take something that's working and be like, you know what? I'm actually not going to do that again. And I'm going to try something completely different. But to your credit, I think that you've kind of anticipated where we're headed. Because now what I've heard too is like, even with social media, like what's being favored is much more natural, less manicured content.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not saying you started this trend too, but I'm also not saying that.
Well, yeah. And fortunately, I think I have a pretty good track record of like staying authentic and staying messy and staying imperfect my whole career. So for whatever, that's where I feel like good about being like, well, I'm not flip-flopping in either direction. Like that's always been kind of the mission for me. But yeah, it is funny. And that's also like when I talk to people and they're like, talk about trends and this, that, and the other. I'm like, it's best if you can just avoid them altogether.
Yeah.
Be it for social media or a cookbook or any work that you're making, because it will always change back to the thing that you want to be doing. Like you will always, it's kind of, what is it? Like a broken clock is right twice a day or something.
Yeah.
I don't know if that even works here, but stay with me. But yeah, it's like if you stick to something and you believe in it, it will come back in vogue. It will be chic again. It will be the thing that everybody wants again. And I think it's better to be consistent with that than to kind of always be chasing success by the whims of things you can't predict or count on.
Are you saying that like people should just like believe in themselves and trust their guts?
God, it is so hard to do that. I will say, and it's funny that it's like really fucking scary or really hard. It is. And I had many meltdowns over this, being like, was that the right shade of green? Like, should I have gone with this? Should I have gone with that? Like questioning myself after, of course, the book is at the printer and it's way too late. But it's funny how sure you can be and be like, this is it. And I'm 1,000% confident. And then 3 days later, you're like, oh my God, what have I done? Is this a huge mistake? I'm scared. Like that, both things can be true and you can occupy both parts of that like psyche,
100%. Well, hey, you mentioned your career. Let's zoom out a little bit because people might not realize that you are a born and bred Angelino, which is very, very important because this is the LA Food Podcast.
That's right.
Let me ask you this, Alison. Where did you like to eat growing up?
Well, I grew up in the Valley. I grew up in Sherman Oaks and in Tarzana.
Oh, yeah. 818.
818, yeah. And my dad was a big fan of the pantry. And also, what is his favorite? Is it God, he's definitely going to listen to this. He's definitely going to be disappointed in me that I can't like remember. I think it's the pantry.
Mr. Roman, you can send us your complaints directly via email.
He will. He'll write to you, I'm sure. We would go to Carney's for hot dogs when they were still on Sunset.
Classic.
And like the old train car. That's gone, right?
They're still there.
Oh, they are?
They're still there. Alison, I ate 100 burgers last year in 365 days, and Carney's was very much one of my stops.
Wow, that is so many burgers. Are you okay?
So many burgers.
Okay.
No, I am not okay, but thank you for asking.
I think that I am so frustrated driving down Sunset Boulevard that I, like whenever I'm home, that I just like put blinders on and I'm like, I don't even know what businesses are here anymore.
You just black out.
I like to walk down Sunset Boulevard, like if I'm staying in the area.
That's crazy.
People look at me like I'm insane. I'm like, all right, nobody walks down Sunset. I know, but the parking situation is such a nightmare.
It's true.
Anyway, so Carney's, it was Cupid's. It was like a lot of hot dogs and pastrami sandwiches because that's my dad's favorite food.
Epic.
We went to Versailles. For Cuban food a lot. I went to Chin Chin.
Oh, yeah.
My mom a lot for like,
yeah,
noodles and
some deep cuts that don't get a lot of love on this podcast. So thank you for bringing those up.
I'm sure they don't. And I'm happy to. My favorite diner or deli closed called Solly's. And that's on Ventura and Van Nuys or Coldwater.
Well, it's closed now, so we can't verify.
It was in like, it's closed, but it's in like the same shopping center as there's like a Ralph's and a Humphrey's Yogurt, which famously Meghan Markle worked at during high school. So a lot of history there. A lot of history. We love to see it. And also, you started your career here in LA, actually in fine dining at acclaimed West Hollywood restaurant Sona by David Myers. I understand you guys were doing all kinds of crazy Navy SEAL like activities there. Is that true? Yeah, it was a very special restaurant and very hard to explain to people now what that would have been like. But yeah, I got a job there when I was 19 and I like knocked on the back door of the restaurant and was like, I would like to talk to the chef
Hmm.
and I would like to work here while I go put myself through culinary school. And David at the time, who was the chef and the owner, was not in, but the pastry chef, Ron Mendoza, was. And he answered the door and he's like, well, I'll talk to you. And I was like, okay. I didn't really know the difference. I was like, well, I just want to work here. I don't care like where you put me.
Hmm.
And he sort of was like, well, I'll save you the money because most people hate working in restaurants. And you should just like work here for a bit and see if you even like it. And then you can go to culinary school. So I did that. He hired me at the bakery across the street, Boole. And I slowly started like learning a few things, but I was starting from absolutely zero because I didn't end up going to culinary school. But yeah, eventually I moved across the street a few months later to the restaurant, was working in the pastry kitchen there. It was a very small team. I want to say like 9 cooks, maybe. And that might be generous. It might have been like 7 or 8.
Wow.
But it was 2 people in pastry, 1 garde manger. Yeah. 1 sous chef. And then 3 people on the line. So very small team. And every day before service, we would have to go out in the back. And it was on this cul-de-sac, which is still there. I think it's called, it's the Nice Guy. Is that what it is?
Oh, yeah.
On Melrose and La Cienega. Anyway, and we would go back there and we would like lift tables over our heads and run up and down the street and do wall sits and do push-ups and
Crazy.
insane. And then we would go in for service and cook all night. It was totally crazy.
And you were like, this is just how restaurants work.
Yeah. I was like, well, this is what it means to work in a restaurant. And at the time, there was obviously no social media. There was no Instagram. We didn't have iPhones. They didn't exist. Shocking. But all I knew of fine dining restaurants I read in cookbooks. And it was like a lot of Marco Pierre White and Pierre Gagne and like Michel Bras. And you sort of got these, it was very romantic to imagine yourself in this sort of close-knit, tight group of highly creative, highly hardworking people that all had like a common goal, which was to like make an incredible dining experience for strangers that you never met or saw. And I think what a cool aspiration that was. Like without like zero glory, without zero notoriety, nobody ever was going to know who you were. No one was ever going to know your name at that level. And you showed up and did it anyway. And it was awesome. And like we all were so happy to be there every day.
That's awesome. So this was in the 2000s, right?
Yes. Early 2000s.
Okay. So LA was like a completely different, like fine dining restaurant scene back then, right? Compared to what it is now.
Yeah.
Like what was it like then? And also let me ask a second part to that question, because you eventually then move up to San Francisco. You eventually go across the country to New York.
Mm-hmm.
If LA had like a more thriving fine dining scene at the time, was there a universe in which you would have stayed?
It's possible. I think that growing up in LA, I think at the time I was also just ready to live in a different city.
Yeah.
Even for a short period of time. It was sort of like called to me. I was like, oh, you know what else is out there? But that's probably, And I think had it been easier for me to know what restaurants there were, I also was super broke and obviously had no money to eat at fine dining restaurants. So, when you work in a restaurant at that level, you're there for 13, 14 hours a day. You eat at the restaurant, like that was it. I ate rice and eggs at home. But like, I didn't have any extra money. I paid rent with the money that I earned at the job. And so that was sort of it. But it didn't occur to me because I was eating at the best restaurant in the city every night, according to me.
Right.
Also, again, there was one person to read on food. It was Jonathan Gold. And he primarily, I think rightfully so, spent most of his time talking about smaller restaurants that didn't have PR, that weren't patroned by wealthy people. And I would basically eat wherever he told you to eat. Like I would go to the San Gabriel Valley twice a week. I would go deeper into the valley where I lived. He did such a great job of writing about food at the end restaurants, but never necessarily with a spin on fine dining. So it wasn't my focus.
Yeah.
So it was really more about moving cities than it was about trying to stay in LA at that time. I also probably thought I'll always come back to LA. It's a perfect city. Why would I leave?
LA will always be here. LA will always be here for you, Alison.
I know.
Now, you talking about LA's restaurants, I've heard you say before that New York you were talking about London, and you said that New York is a better restaurant city than London, and Los Angeles is a better food city. What did you mean by that?
Yeah, I've heard some people say that since, but I've been beating this drum for many years. And I reserve the right to change my mind at any time. I will say that, because restaurants come and go, food comes and goes. But in my experience, and now at this point, I consider myself a tourist in LA. I have been in New York for 16 years and away from LA for 20. So
Wow.
I no longer can lay claim to like knowing what's best in LA. But that said, it is my experience that New York, and I think because I enjoy small, intimate, cozy, sexy, romantic restaurants, I think the restaurants are better in New York. I think that service is better. I think that the lighting is better. I think that there's just something there. LA has awesome restaurants. Of course it does. But I also think that like, if you're like, damn, I need to just like get a quick lunch, or I need to like get something on a Tuesday, or I need to like, to me, I am more excited by the potential of eating in LA. I think that the food options, and I'm not just saying restaurants, I'm saying any type of place where food is offered, to me is more exciting than New York. And it doesn't mean that New York doesn't have that, but it's more difficult to eat, to like throw a dart at a wall and know that you're going to nail something. And LA, I find that to be much easier. Like you can kind of go anywhere in LA and be like, this is probably going to be pretty good.
Look, we will take that. We'll absolutely take that.
Yeah, I don't think that's a dig at either city. I think it's like not every city can be everything to everyone. And I think because of the sprawl of LA and because of the density in New York, like there's just going to be strengths. And it doesn't mean that LA doesn't have great restaurants or New York doesn't have great food. I just think that LA has better food, or more exciting to me food, and New York has better, more exciting to me restaurants.
Yeah. Okay. Exciting. Oh, the 2U is an interesting and important differentiation. So I appreciate that.
I've really mastered the to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure you did. We'll get there. Don't worry. You know, if you were forced to move back, where would you live?
In LA?
Yeah. Like, would you be a beach person? Would you be an East Side girly? Would you go back to the Valley?
Oh God, it depends on real estate. Honestly,
Of
I
course,
think that if
yeah.
all things being equal, I would never live at the beach. It's too far and I cannot stand the traffic. I honestly,
Yeah.
if climate change were not an issue and all things being equal real estate wise, I would absolutely live in a canyon.
Hell yeah.
Give me Coldwater, give me Laurel, give me Beechwood, give me Topanga. Like I think to me, that is to me quintessential Los Angeles. Not even like just in terms of like where I spent most of my time, because I was always commuting from the Valley to the West Side, to the East Side, to the beach, to Topanga. Like I spent a lot of time there, and I think it's so beautiful. I think it's so quirky. It's interesting. The architecture is awesome. I love it there, and all the canyons. I think they're fabulous.
It also very much fits the something from nothing aesthetic.
Yes, it really does. It is. Yeah, it's giving Joni Mitchell,
Yeah.
Super Bloom. We're making toast.
Hell yeah.
You know, a cup of tea. I don't know. Yeah.
No, you get it. You get it. Last like broad topic I want to cover with you is actually food media, because you famously worked at Bon Appetit and the New York Times, among many other places. You were there when things appeared to really be thriving in that sector of like online recipes and things of that nature. But the landscape has shifted dramatically since then. Is there anything you miss about those days?
I really liked working at a magazine. I liked the community of like getting together with a group of people who are like-minded, and you could ask somebody their opinion, and you could weigh in on other people's food and give your opinion. And it's a lot lonelier working for yourself, with yourself. There's a lot of freedom there and a lot of incredible benefits, obviously, but I do miss like, you know, I never thought I'd say this because at the time it was like, ugh, if I have to sit in one more meeting, I'll die. But you're like, you know what? I kind of miss those meetings sometimes where it's just like you and a bunch of people that all know, you could like, you're all speaking the same language about food. Even if you disagreed creatively, there was an understanding that you could all potentially make your work better by even just talking about it and by cooking it for people and having other people taste it. And there's a lot that you can complain about, and I did and have, about having other people weigh in on your work and changing your work, and it becomes something different than you intended. But there's also a lot of upside. And I think that upside is something that is difficult to create once you've like flown the coop.
Yeah.
Which is why I think now we're seeing a lot of, in the past, like even 3 months, like what is effectively a magazine being reborn. And it's so funny because people are like, I'm like, wow, we killed magazines. And now people are like, what if it was like a bunch of people who wrote for the same place?
It's crazy.
And you know what? I'm like, that's a magazine.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so again, it's sort of like the pendulum swings the other way. And I think sometimes things they get bad, they burn down, they rebuild. It's it's the nature of culture.
Yeah, I was thinking about this yesterday. I'm actually in a hotel room right now. This like woodsy
I was
background
gonna
you
say it's
see.
very cool looking.
Yeah, it's actually the Grand Californian at Disneyland.
Oh my God.
Yes, I have Minnie on my shirt in case you didn't clock that.
Why are you there?
I was here for a restaurant
I didn't.
opening. It's called Napa Rose. It was a very great restaurant. But of course, we're gonna go to the park the next day. Are you kidding me? Come on now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you with family?
I'm just with my
Okay.
wife. Just with my wife. Yeah. But I was
Okay.
flipping through the television channel here at the Grand Californian, and I noticed that DirecTV was doing something where it was like publicizing that they also had Hulu and Amazon Prime and like all of these streaming services. And I'm like, wait, so all of the streaming services are going into one bundle, which is essentially just cable again.
TV. Yeah.
And that's what you just described.
Yeah.
That's what you just described with magazines. It's crazy.
It's the great bundling and unbundling of content and media that will be studied for years to come, and nothing will ever change, and we'll talk about it, but it won't ever be different. And it's very funny.
I love it. So you were an early mover into that Substack owned content space. So how has it been different to build something that is entirely around you as opposed to working for somebody else? Like,
it's interesting because I don't think that I could have done it sooner. Like I really liked, I'm sure I have many editors that would disagree with what I'm about to say, but I actually really like being edited. I like, even if I disagree, but I like being edited if I can disagree and not change something.
Yeah.
But I don't like to assume that whatever it is that I think or say is correct. So I do like to be questioned so that I can then examine it and then make the decision whether or not to change something, which is a huge part of the editing process. So I think that that's the biggest difference is like now working by myself, I don't have an editor regularly. Obviously when I'm making cookbooks, I do, but it's sort of just like whatever I'm thinking and whatever I'm feeling and want to say, I can produce, which is a lot more blog culture. So I think there's a lot of people now that have Substacks that are definitely gunning for the position of sort of media and they want to be viewed as such. I think that what I'm doing is definitely more like blog in that like it's feelings based, it's vibey, it's like inconsistent, there's typos. Like I'm not trying to be a magazine of one. I'm just trying to be like a really trusted resource for recipes that you're going to like to cook and other things that you might like to read about stuff. And I think that is, to me, I can't imagine anything better.
Yeah, I love that.
And there's a lot of pros, a lot of cons, but I think that it became very clear to me, especially in the last like year or two, that like I'm not trying to be a magazine. And I don't want to like hire 5 people below me to like write recipes, to like churn stuff out, to, have other column. Like I don't want to, I'm too irresponsible for that. I'm too chaotic and disorganized. So I'm better alone.
Hey, again, like the power of knowing who you are, you know what I mean? And so like, the reason I like kind of labeled you as a media company, because I just saw so many different things happening, right? You have your Substack, you got your books, you had your home videos, like video series, right? Oh, home movies. I'm sorry. Fantastic, by the way. And it's just
Thank
like
you.
all these things together, like come together and feel like a media company that is like Alison Roman Inc. But it's cool to hear you say that's like, actually it's still kind of like improvisational. And I just want you to like, I just want to reach you basically wherever you are.
Yeah. I think that I have a lot of interest in a lot of things, and I get bored easily and I want to explore other mediums and I want to push myself to also do something different. And recipe writing only has, it can only be expanded upon so much. You can do video, you can write, you can podcast, like you can like kind of push it a little bit. But at the end of the day, I think recipe writing is a very utilitarian pursuit, and it is consumed that way. Like people feed themselves with this, and you have to like meet them where they're at. And so I think to like expand your business elsewhere, you have to think beyond that. And like, but I think it's important for me that everything that I do somehow come back to that and relate to feeding yourself and the joy of cooking and like the beautiful things that happen when you're in the kitchen and how it makes you feel. Like anything I do, I think is in sort of pursuit of that feeling and hopefully connects back to like reminding people what I do, which is write recipes, teach you how to cook.
That's awesome. Yeah, well, I was speaking of writing recipes. I was watching TV the other day, probably Vanderpump Rules or something, and one of the commercials was a ChatGPT commercial about a
Mm.
young guy cooking, wondering what to cook for a first date, and he asked,
Oh, I've seen it.
you know the one, yeah, yeah. So he's asking what to cook for a first date. The ChatGPT says make this lemony pasta, and it's blah blah blah. How does that make you feel as a recipe developer, and how are you like preparing for that?
It makes me feel scared.
Yeah.
But I feel scared across the board with AI and creative pursuits. I recognize that it is a helpful tool for many people, especially when it comes to like numbers and graphs and like information that is sort of more hard and fast. But when it comes to creativity, it makes me feel weird that they use the word lemony in that commercial because I feel like I started doing that
Mm-hmm.
a while ago and then it became a thing. And not to take credit for the word itself, as obviously it's a word, but you know, it was like something brought into that culture. And so clearly, like any creative AI situation, it's combing the internet, the database, the whatever for other creative work and then mashing it into this other like it's learning from real
course.
people. Obviously I sound like a conspiracy theorist maybe right now, but
No, you're just literally stating facts is the thing.
it's like I know. And so to know, I remember when AI first was like coming about and all these authors were like, they're combing our work on the internet. But this book I wrote for like, it's feeding the beast. And I was kind of like, whatever, like you can't stop it, but also you can't stop people from doing it. And I've been
Yeah.
watching that happen for years. And not just to me, but to anyone in the field that puts their work on the internet, it will get stolen by someone or a robot.
For sure.
And that's just where we're at. And so it makes me scared, but I've been scared. I've been scared of like, how do you protect yourself? How do you protect your creative voice, your perspective? But I think fortifying myself as I have my whole career with the
Yeah.
message that being human is actually really appealing and really fun and beautiful and makes for better work. I
Yeah.
can continue to say that and feel that regardless. And hope that one day I still have a job. And there will be people who would much rather type into ChatGPT, like, I have tomatoes and a pound of pork and some pasta. Will you get me a recipe to use those ingredients? And ChatGPT will spit out something that probably will work. I don't know if it'll taste good, and maybe it
will make food.
Yeah, it will make food. Exactly. It will make food because you're
Yeah.
starting with food, right? Like, okay, well, you're going to start with something.
Yeah.
It's going to comb the recipes that already exist. You're going to brown the meat. You're going to add the tomatoes. You're going to cook the pasta. Like, it's not that hard. But there are people that would always rather get it from another person. And whether that lasts another 5 years or 50 years, I think I have at least a little bit of time left.
Yeah, I mean, I think there will always be a premium placed on like creativity and just like getting something from a human. And I think part of the antidote is just to keep creating. Like
Mhm.
you're just gonna keep creating, coming up with new things, and people are gonna gravitate towards that. Like
Yeah.
you are the premium product, Allison, you know?
Thank you. I hope so. I sometimes wonder, am I being naive or are we being naive, the people that say that and feel that? Because, and the answer might be yes, but hopefully we have many, many, many years before we're proven wrong.
Yeah, before we're fucked. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Allison, there are so many other things that I'd like to talk to you about. I mean, you opened a grocery store, there's so many different things, but we are running out of time. And the final question we ask all our guests, I think is the most important one. That is, what are 3 LA restaurants you absolutely love when you're in town?
Oh, 3 LA restaurants I absolutely love when I'm in town. I gotta say I love Musso and Frank. I just do. It's a great restaurant.
Classic.
I like going there. I go there with my dad. I go there with my husband. I go there with friends. It is harder to get into now than it ever has been, and that is tough.
Yeah.
It's tough to digest. Where else do I go? I don't have a specific favorite Thai restaurant, but I always get Thai food in LA because
Oh, yeah.
it's harder to find in New York at the level that you can get it in LA so effortlessly. But I feel like the ones that I've been going to for years are the ones that are still there and everything still hits and is great. And the other would be
Great shout.
tacos. And I know that's like a cop out because there's so many different types and different kinds, but like Tacos Leo, like
Oh, yeah.
I feel like El Chato. I feel like El Chato, the first time I had El Chato, like,
Oh, wow.
yeah, like maybe 10 years ago, I couldn't believe it. And I was like, how did I not know about this sooner? And I think because I'm a
Deep cut.
is it a deep cut?
Yeah, like it is. It's not as talked about anymore as it once was on the blogs like 10 years ago.
Is it not as good?
No, it still hits. Just people are just so like
Okay.
finicky. Like, you know, they like their flavor of the month with the tacos, and El Chato hasn't been it for a while.
I know. And they're transient.
Yeah.
I know. Well, maybe if you're listening, maybe go give them a visit
Hell yeah.
on my behalf, because I'm in New York and I can't. But I think for any person who visits a city they love, and I love LA, it's tough to balance the new with the old, because you are enticed by like whatever's new and what people are talking about, and you got to go here. What's the new place on Hillhurst that's like British?
Oh, Wilds.
Yes, Wilds. I went for breakfast. I had a lovely little situation there. It was very good.
Oh, nice.
But I was just like, am I going to go there for dinner and like try to get a table and it's like a pain in the ass, or am I going to like go to Moose on Friday? You know, like where it's like, I know what I'm getting. Like there's something comforting about like you bought a new pair of jeans, but you're like, but your old jeans look so good on you. And so there is this push and pull. And I hear that when people come to New York, I'm like, where are you eating? They're like, oh, I eat at the same 3 restaurants every time because to me, they are New York, or I miss them. Or, you know, it's when you're in the city, it's so much easier to spend your time going to new restaurants and like taking a chance.
For sure.
But yeah, I also go to Parks Barbecue a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of go every time I'm in LA, and I'm waiting for someone to tell me of a different place to go. So if you're listening and you want to tell me.
Look, we've got some recommendations for you.
You can tell me. Yeah, you tell me where to go.
Yeah. No. But the thing is, like, Parks is a classic. And I feel like when I'm visiting a new city, I want to go to the classic places, because like those are the ones that have stood the test of time in that city. Whereas like, you know, Wilds, God bless them, they might not be here next year. You just don't know with new restaurants. Things are up and down, right? So
you don't know.
Yeah.
You can't know.
Yeah.
Which is why I think like going for lunch or breakfast is a good move, because you can kind of suss it out. Like I'd come back for dinner.
Yeah.
You know,
I like that scouting. Alison, it has been an absolute pleasure to speak with you. Thank you so much for making the time for us. The book is Something from Nothing. Everybody go get a copy. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. This was lovely.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the LA Food Podcast. Thanks to our guests for making the time for us. As always, we'll be back with another epic episode next week, but if you're looking for me in the meantime, you can find me on TikTok, Instagram, Thread, YouTube, even our website at the LA Countdown. You can also find us on Instagram at It's Acquired Taste and at acquiredtastemedia.com. If you like what you heard here today, dear listener, please consider going to wherever you listen to podcasts and leave us a 5-star rating or review, even a follow. That really helps us. It means the world to us. Thank you so much in advance.